टिली वल्लभं वंदे धर्मज्ञं दृढदन्विनं संचरन्तं विमाने च गुणतः करुणाकरं. Rama is the role model for a spiritual seeker. The great saint Nammalvar has said this. Karpar Ramapiranayallaal matrum karparo. Our great grand preceptor's Sanskrit version of this verse in Pratibimba Lahari goes like this. Abhyasyanti kimanyam abhyasaninaha ramam vinaswaminam sarvam kshudra pipilikadi vitarad durvadi nirhetukam nandadvastu characharam shubhatara yodhya pureveshayat srishteshu atra chaturmukhena bhuvaneshu uchaswabhavam param. The great commentators, they say here mattravatrai vittu karkaikku hetu, that is, no other person is a good role model for a spiritual seeker other than Lord Rama, and Lord Rama alone is the role model. To substantiate this, we will see 7 points. Point number 1, we shall just think why he incarnated as a human being like Rama. If Ravana Vadha was the reason, he could have done it by his divine will itself, directly from Vaikuntha. Or if he comes to bless devotees like Guha, Sabari, Vibhishna, Hanuman, etc., he can come to this earth, but the question is, he could have come as a superman like Krishna and would have showered his blessings on Guha, Sabari and all other devotees. But he didn't come as a superman like Krishna. He came as a complete man. So the question is not why did he incarnate. The question is why did he choose human form as a normal complete man. The first and foremost reason for such kind of a human incarnation is he wanted to show us the way. This is the way to lead your life. This is the path prescribed by all the scriptures. This is to be followed by every spiritual seeker. So that's the main motive of Rama's avatara. The other brothers, they supplemented his task, but the total role model is Lord Rama himself. He showed 2 aspects. One, as the Lord who is the savior of all refugees. The other, the way a spiritual seeker should behave. And throughout most of his life, divine life on this earth, he did show his divine powers much. Rather, he showed up himself as a normal human being and showed us the way. So, why did Rama incarnate as a complete normal human being? Nammalvar says, it is to show us the way, to show the way for a spiritual seeker. So probably the other speakers have got the responsibility to first answer this question before beginning their arguments about Lakshmana, Bharata or Shatrughna. Then point number 2, let us go to the first sarga of Valmiki Ramayana. The questions put forward by Valmiki to Narada are all regarding human qualities to be followed by a spiritual seeker and not divine qualities of Lord. Valmiki asks, Kon vasmin sampratam loke gunavan kascha viryavan dharmajnascha kritajnascha satyavakyo dridhavrataha charitrena cha ko yuktaha sarvabhuteshu ko hitaha vidvan kaha kas samarthascha kaschaika priyadarshanaha atmavan ko jitakrodaha dyutiman ko nasuyakaha kasya bibhyati devascha Jata roshasya sanyuge. Just think of all these things: simplicity, valor, knowledge in dharma, gratitude, truthfulness, being firm in our vow, and perfect conduct, doing good to all creatures, scholarliness, smartness, being pleasant, bravery, having anger under our control, being with splendor, being devoid of jealousy. If he gets angry, even devas get afraid. So all these are qualities which have to be emulated by a spiritual seeker, right from utmost humility. Everything has to be emulated by spiritual seekers. So the first sarga of Ramayana itself shows Rama is the role model. Point number 3, the most important attribute for a spiritual seeker is faith in Shastras. He should have implicit faith. Yada vai shraddadati atha manute na ashraddadat manute shraddadat eva manute shraddhat eva vijijñasitavyeti, says Chandogya Upanishad. So that absolute faith in Shastras, that is not shown explicitly by any other brother of Rama, but Rama himself he showed it. He abided by the Shastras absolutely, with absolute faith. When Rishi Jabali spoke against Shastras, Rama immediately objected to that. He said, Karma bhumim imam prapya, kartavyam karma yachubham, tvatto janaha purvatare varascha shubhani bahuni chakruhu, jitva sademam cha param cha lokam, tasma dvijaha swasti hutam kritam cha. He praises the yagas and yajnas prescribed in the Vedas. He praises the Shastras and he condemns the speech of Jabali who criticizes Shastras. And so we have to understand that Rama didn't want to show Jnana, Bala, Virya, Shakti, Aishwarya, Tejas, etc., which are the defining qualities of the Supreme One. Rather, he wanted to show the basic qualities which are essential for any spiritual seeker, starting from absolute faith in Shastras. Point number 4. One argument may arise. These basic qualities are essential for all seekers, but the exalted quality for a seeker, there are two things. One is Sheshatva, living only to add glory to our master, and Paratantriya, completely accepting whatever is ordained by him. These Sheshatva and Paratantriya were shown by Lakshmana and Bharata, so they could be the perfect role models, rather than Rama who showed mere basic attributes only. But regarding Sheshatva and Paratantriya, the 184th shloka of Paduka Sahasram says, Bhratur niyogepi anivartyamanam rajyabhishekam cha parityajantam Ramanujautau nanu Paratantriyat ubhau ubhabhyam bhavati jigaye. When Rama asked Lakshmana to stay back at Ayodhya, Lakshmana refused. When Rama asked Bharata to coronate himself, Bharata also refused. But, O Paduka Devi, you alone stood as the epitome of Paratantriya by abiding by Rama's words to the fullest extent. That is the judgment given by Swami Vedanta Deshika himself. So, rather than considering Lakshmana and Bharata for Sheshatva or Paratantriya, we can observe Ramayana closely to find that Rama shows the perfect Paratantriya much better than his other brothers. Because the statement of Rama to Vishwamitra, as Vishwamitra takes Rama and Lakshmana with him to protect his yaga, Rama says, Imausma munishardule kinkarau samupasthitau agnyapaya yatheshtam vai shasanam karavavakim. Rama says to Vishwamitra, O great saint, he adds Lakshmana to him and says, we are your servants. Whatever you ordain, we are ready to abide by that absolutely and do service accordingly. Abiding by him, doing service. So both Paratantriya and Sheshatva have come here. Therefore, these two have been very well explained and demonstrated by Rama himself. So, in addition to giving lot of tips and management techniques to material people, Rama himself has given such spiritual tips to seekers as well. Point number 5. Those who argue for Lakshmana as the best role model quote a famous adage. Rama himself lost his Ayodhya Samrajya for 14 years, but Lakshmana didn't lose his Kaikarya Samrajya even for a minute. But please note, Rama also didn't lose his Guna Samrajya, kingdom of auspicious qualities, even for a second. So he is always the Chakravarti emperor for Guna Samrajya. Similarly, we say for Bharata, Kambar has said, Yennil Kodi Ramargal Annal Nin Arulukku Arugavaro, Ayiram Ramargal Ninked Avaro Terinamma. We may quote this to say that Bharata is greater. But please remember, this debate is not about who is greater. This debate is about who is the role model for a spiritual seeker. And also, Rama is the benchmark for all good qualities. So everybody will compare a person with good qualities to Rama only, and it is natural. Just like we compare a singer to M.S. Subbulakshmi or a cricketer to Tendulkar, comparing Bharata with Rama adds glory only to Rama and reiterates the fact that Rama is the epitome of all good qualities. He is the benchmark for good quality. He is the role model for spiritual seeker. That is why Bharata is compared to Rama. Again, this goal is also to my side only. And then point number 6. when Dandakaranya sages, they surrendered to Rama to vanquish the demons. Rama said, the mistake is mine. I should not have waited till you people approached me. Rather, I should have approached you and saved you before you have asked. Please note this point. Again, he sought pardon from Vibhishana after accepting him. And Rama said, Vibhishana, I am the reason for all the sufferings you had encountered from Ravana and these all these Vanaras so far. For all these sufferings, I am the reason. Because had I come to Lanka and accepted you before itself, you wouldn't have faced all these struggles. Doesn't this remind you of Naneda Nayadha, Matpapa Mevatra Nimittam Asit statement of Bharata? So that has also been displayed by Rama. And finally, point number 7. What about Shatrughna? Wasn't he the epitome of Bhagavata Bhakti? Please look at Aranya Kanda of Ramayana. Shatrughna showed his devotion and servitude to one devotee Bharata. But Rama showed the same Bhagavata Seshatva to many sages. In Atri Anasuya Ashram, Valmiki says, Tam tu Sita Mahabhagam Anasuyam Pativratam Abhyavadayat Avyagra Swamnama Samudaharat. In Sutikshna Ashrama, Rama says, Ramohamasmi Bhagavan Bhavantam Drashtum Agataha Tanma Abhivada Dharmagnya Maharshe Satyavikrama. Similarly, in Agastya Ashram, Rama touches the feet of Agastya with his hands. Eva Muktva Mahabahuhu Agastyam Surya Varchasam Jagraha Parama Pritaha Tasya Padau Parantapaha. So Rama himself has showed this Bhagavata Seshatva also. So what are all the qualities you would see in a spiritual seeker? Vedanta Deshika in his Nyasa Vimshati lists out the salient qualities of a spiritual seeker. Sadbuddhihi, Sadhusevi, Samuchita Charitaha, Tattva Bodhabhilashi, Shushrushuhu, Tyaktamanaha, Pranipatana Paraha, Prashnakala Pratikshaha, Shanto Danto Nasuyuhu, Sharanam Upagataha, Shastra Vishwasashali, Shishya Praptaha Pratiksham, Kritavid Abhimatam, Tattvatas Shikshaniyaha. All these qualities are present in Rama alone and not any brother. So the others have to answer these 15 points. So though the other brothers might excel in one or two of these qualities, Rama alone has possessed all these qualities. On top of all these things, Ashukavi Villur Swami in his Mandasmita Ramayana says, Pitur Vachasinas Titaha, Pitrmate pi no vartate, Mahatsu Vinayonate, Paramayam Viruddhastataha, Prasaktirapi Vanchita, Mama Punah Kave Kamada, Tvitismitamaho, Mitam Vitanushe, Parivahataha. This is a conversation between Vadur Rama and Ashukavi Villur Swami. Vadur Rama is telling our Villur Swami, though our Villur Swami was very much devoted to his father, out of humility he is writing like this. Rama is telling him, you are not abiding by your father's words. You are not acting as per his wishes. You are not showing respect to elders. You are prioritizing your own wishes against the wishes of your father. But Rama, he says here, I did all these things. I abided by my father's words. I acted as per his wishes. I respected elders. I showed you the way, but you are not following any of these. Saying this, Rama sports a smile on his face, says Swami. Though he was totally devoted to his father come preceptor, out of humility he wrote like this. So here Rama himself has given a statement to Villur Swami that he did everything to show us the way as a model for spiritual seeker. Therefore, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. Rama is the total complete role model, the epitome of Dharma for a spiritual seeker. He showed basic qualities like humility, gratitude, contact, etc. And exalted qualities like Seshatva, Bhagavata Seshatva, Shastra Vishwasam, etc. To supplement him only, Lakshmana showed Bhagavat Seshatva, Bharata showed a part of Bhagavat Paratantriya, Shatrughna showed a part of Bhagavata Seshatva. But the sum total of all qualities is Rama. He is Purna, he is complete. So if we deny that Rama is not a role model, it will be contrary to the fact that he is Purna. So he is always Purna. Finally, we have to give full credit to the Lord who decided to incarnate in this earth to show the way for all of us. Though he could have done it through somebody else, he himself chose to do it. So we have to submit the judgment to his lotus feet as a token of our reference. Lakshmana didn't get away from Rama for a minute. Bharata had great devotion to Rama. Shatrughna was the favorite brother of Rama. But these things are not the subject of today's debate. This is all about who is the role model for a spiritual seeker. And our judge, our most revered, Sri U.Ve., Dr. President of India awardee, Dr. Sri U.Ve. Karunakaracharya Swami, bears a lot of resemblances to Lord Rama only. That's why I started this speech saying a shlokam, Maithili Vallabham Vande. Rama is also Maithili Vallabha. Our Swami is also Maithili Vallabha. Dharmagyam. Rama is the embodiment of Dharma. Our Swami is also the same way. He is the embodiment of Dharma. He follows every letter and spirit of Dharma Shastras. And Drida Dhanvinam. Rama has got will power. That is will power. Our Swami has got lot of willpower. Sancharantam Vimanecha. Rama, those times he travelled in Pushpaka Vimana. Our Swami is travelling in Sribhashya Vimana. Gunatah Karunakaram. Both are Karunakara in their gunam of their attributes. They both are embodiment of compassion. So I hope Swami will give the judgment towards Karunakara Rama. Thank you.